Greetings and welcome to True Life Experiences live on STREETZ989 Atlanta TV, a global network streaming live with your host, the First Lady, Minister Jazzy. We are the number one show sharing the lives of extraordinary leaders, entertainers, and community leaders through true life experiences. Today we have a very sensitive topic. Make sure that if you have your kids around, that you take them away from this particular segment of my show because I cannot be responsible for anything that we may discuss this evening. And it is a very sensitive issue of one of my dear friends, Jermaine Day, aka J. Wesley Day, who was brutally victimized while at a bar in the Edgewood district here in the Atlanta area. Let's welcome him to the studio. Hi, Jay. How are you today?
Hello, thanks for having me. I truly appreciate your support and sharing my story.
I am so sorry about what has happened to you, Jay. I met you many, many years ago when you first got to Atlanta, and you were doing some amazing things in the community as a journalist and as the SIP doctor. And I still see you doing things with that. But you have also experienced something that really needs to be shared with the community. Let's share what happened to you in November of 2018.
I had, I had just completed a community meeting for the ex-president of the Atlanta Nightlight Alliance. And after that meeting, after I walked my last two female guests to their cars, I was approached by those men as I attempted to enter Joystick, and they began to tell me that the gay club is down the street. Um, they started calling me homos and fags and sissies, and I know the owner, so I decided that I would text the owner. He told me he wasn't there, he wasn't feeling well, so I decided to record them because for what I have known of the owner, he operates with a high level of integrity. And so I decided to record, and as a result, they jumped me, and I was on life support, fighting for my life.
See, that is the problem that I have with the whole situation. But share with us, you've gone to city council meetings, you've gone to the district attorney, you've gone to the mayor's office, you've gone to your clergy, Reverend Raphael Warnock. Share with us a little bit about some of these experiences that you've been going through and some of the losses that you've suffered over the past several years.
Yes, it's definitely been a roller coaster for me, and um, just not even sure where to start. But
Let's
one of the
start
things
by
that
let's start by sharing your one of your videos where you have 10 pointers that you share with the city council.
all right. Um, so yes, so
Good afternoon,
yes,
everyone. My name is J. Wesley Day. I rise from the great city of Chicago, Illinois. I moved here in 2010, and I was beaten in 2018 at the Joystick Game Bar. I nearly lost my life. My mom had 6 boys, 2 murdered, and 1 drowned. She almost lost a 4th on that day. And since that injustice, no one has been charged with the crime. Instead, Keith Gamage charged me with affray, which is a misdemeanor, fighting in public. Although I had captured my assailants on video camera taunting me with homophobic slurs and epithets, slapping me, beating me, no one has been convicted over 5 years later. But guess what? Not only did Keith Gamage charge me with the fray, Keith Gamage escalated that affray charge for recommendation of a felony to Fonnie Willis' office. How does that make sense? Again, my assailants are on camera. I'm seen as the non-aggressor. I said nothing. And they're swinging on me, taunting me, calling me fags and sissies. How did I get charged? How did that charge get escalated? As a result, I lost my job with Delta Airlines. Why? Because I reported Miss Norwood, whom I voted for mayor over Keisha Lance Bottoms. I told Delta Airlines I had a pending misdemeanor. Delta Airlines came back and said, you misled us, you lied to us, you have a pending felony. Isn't that an injustice? As a citizen, no one came and told me that my charge had been upgraded to a felony. How does any of this make sense? Do you see this as an injustice? Or do no one care because I'm a black man? Or because I'm not white? Or because I'm not rich? As a result, my son had to leave the University of Wisconsin because I could no longer pay his tuition. Now you have another black man perhaps now getting in trouble as he has. Thank you for your time today. Justice, please do something. Assist me, help me. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the things I would like to add to that component is that I had an attorney through all of this, Attorney Gerald Grigg, which is a prominent civil rights person that's somewhat respected here in Atlanta. And he had my case for 3 years, from 2018 after the incident until November 2021. Keith Gamage upgraded my case for recommendation of a felony in June 2021, before I terminated my attorney. Like, how does that make sense that I have the president of the NAACP as my attorney, and he's my frat brother, and he can't get the charge dismissed? And keep in mind, Jazz, that I've never, before this, had never had a criminal case. So, you know, a fray is like a disorderly conduct. It's a misdemeanor. So you mean to tell me that I have no other cases, no pending cases, never had a charge in my life? I have footage of the guys calling me homophobic slurs and slapping me. And I'm community engaged, picking up paper on neighborhoods I don't live in, fixing food for seniors. And you, as an attorney,
Hey,
you
that's not
can't
even the
get
half
this
of it.
dropped.
That's not the half of it. The
Right.
biggest issue that I have is that you were injured and you went to the hospital. You were not arrested. The police report indicated that you were the victim. You were brutally assaulted. The assailants went to jail. How can that be flipped around?
So part of that I can answer in part because I was unconscious in a coma and life support. They gathered their stories together to make me out, attempt to make me out as the aggressor. Because if you read in between
But
the lines, the police kind of,
your video clearly shows you were punched.
but the police report had ultimately been completed before I even got out the hospital, before I even met with them, before I could even show them. They had already kind of made their determination. And, and again, as I mentioned there in the video that you just showed, one of the assailants' case got dropped in 2020. My case, my felony charge would not get dropped until 2022. How does his case get dropped before mine? And that's the guy on camera who works for the bar, who's on camera, who you all just seen slapping me before they really thumped me into the ground.
So what happened as a result of your presentation to City Council, Atlanta City Council?
Ultimately, I've met with Michael Julian Bond last week. Khadijah, who's the commissioner, she had her assistant or chief of staff come over and get my information. He said that they'll be following up with me, so we shall see. I have gone to Malik
But that's
Brown,
from today, right? That was from today.
Yeah, so that was from today with Khadijah. So she had her chief of staff to reach out to me. So I've texted them what her plans are. I'm not so sure. Michael
So,
Julian Bond said he would be willing to write a letter to Delta Airlines
okay.
asking them to reconsider giving me my job back. He said that he would reach out to Keith Gamage to figure out how in the hell this has happened. And, the other thing is we joked about, because I created the Nightlight Task Force. Andre Dickens, our mayor, asked me to put together a blueprint. He didn't tell me what for, but, my thing was I was trying to get him to do it as a city effort under the city's umbrella. Well, guess what? He took the whole idea, plagiarized everything I wrote, and created the Nightlife Task Force under his name as if it's his idea. Knowing that we've met, and not just him, I met with other councilmen about the nightlife as well. I've spoken at
Actually, we
council
did an
meetings about the
interview.
nightlife.
You and I did an interview on the nightlife
Yeah,
package that you were presenting
right,
several years back. So I do know, and I vouch that yes, that were some original work of yours.
right. Yeah,
But
it just
it's
feels
happened
like
to me as
someone
well. So I'm sorry.
said that. No, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
I was just saying that's happened to me as well, where someone stole my idea.
Yeah, you
But let's
gotta be
get back.
careful giving people your stuff, your ideas. Get it copywritten, people.
Right. But let's refocus back to you've been fighting this for the past 5 years,
Going on 6.
going on 6 years. Why is it that you were you on probation or something with Delta? Why did they terminate you if you have not been found guilty at this point? I'm saying, were you on probation? Were you a new employee?
Yes, I was. So, and to kind of answer that question a little bit further, is um, is the fact that one of Delta Airlines' core values is honesty. They felt that I misled them. I reported the incident and reported that I would have a pending misdemeanor. No one told me. Actually, even with me having an attorney, my attorney, Gerald Griggs, did not tell me it was escalated to a felony. I did not learn until Delta came to me and presented it with me was the first time. I almost told Delta that they were lying. They said, no, showed me the paperwork, and they said, you've been dishonest. You've broken our rules of core values of honesty, so we have to let you go.
Well, I think that you've been wrongfully terminated, but that's something that you would have to challenge once you get all of this resolved. And that's based on that. If you're able to get, have you seeked another attorney? What's going on with that since you've given Gerald his papers?
Right. So I terminated my retainer with Gerald in November 2021. I have not had an attorney since then. Ultimately, Fonnie Willis did drop my felony charges. But now
So
there's
that's what I'm
one.
saying. If the charges have been dropped, the felony charges have been dropped, why are you not pursuing your job back as well? That is
Well, part
something
of this
that I
has,
really want you to focus on, because if they terminated you based on the fact that you had a pending felony and they felt like you lied instead of being honest, it's been proven that you were not guilty of that charge. So I think that
yes, I
that's
mean, I have
another.
reached out,
I
I
think
have
that's another
shared with
lawyer.
him.
I think that's another lawyer that you need to look into.
Correct.
Employment. You need to, seek some guidance in that area as well, because
Yes,
I
so I am
definitely feel like you have been wrongfully terminated from your job. I did that for a living, so I think
correct.
that that's something that you need to really look into, because you even stressed on one of your videos that you became homeless as a
I
result
did.
of this one incident. Now,
That
I
is
know that
fact
they were
based
saying that
information.
you were drinking, but this is a bar. So you're expected to drink at a bar.
Right.
So I didn't understand why they was trying to imply that you were incoherent, because you were doing everything to try to stay away from them, but they came off of the sidewalk and hit you. I watched the
Absolutely.
video about 50 times so that I could have a good understanding of our discussion tonight,
Right.
and to try to give you some guidance on what you may be able to do to try to get some resolution to one of these incidents that has happened to derail your life,
Yeah.
which has
Yes.
consequently resulted in your son being, not able to even attend college, which is very important. So, I know you have some petitions going, and you also have a GoFundMe going. So, can you share with the audience a little bit about how they can help you advance your efforts to get justice?
Yes. Thank you. The number one thing right now is the GoFundMe, because I have to get another attorney. And here's why. There's one of my assailants that's still on the hook. That assailant is alleging that I attempted to extort him out of, I think they told me $100,000. So I have been off social media pretty much since this has happened. I fell into a deep depression, anxiety, PTSD. So I haven't used my social media. But I realized that my Facebook disappeared at some point, but because I wasn't really using social media, it didn't bother me as much. I actually had it written down on a things to do list, was to reach out to Facebook to try to get it back, because I realized there are so many monumental, sentimental things there, pictures and events and all of those things. Like it will be like a photo album or losing your birth certificate or something of that nature. So I wanted it back, but now Fonnie Willis is threatening either to drop the charge against the second assailant or charge me with extortion or charge me with extortion. And
Why?
I told them to charge me. It should be two separate cases. Charge me with extortion because I know for a fact that I have not extorted anyone. I told them, how can I help? I was out of town dealing with my ill mom. I said, I'm coming back right now just to meet with you all. I jumped on the highway and met with them within 2 days later. But now they told me they cannot speak to me about the hate crime anymore because now I'm under investigation, and they told me that an indictment is coming down the tunnel soon. So now I have to raise money to get me an attorney. So once I raise the money, any recommendations on a good attorney who's not necessarily friends with the cliquish
The
people here
click,
in Atlanta?
the click.
Right, the clique, exactly. You know, for you all who don't know, Atlanta is super cliquish. And then there's another deeper level to it, which is I call it the underbelly. That's like almost like the mafia, Illuminati. Like there's people there, and I'm not playing. I have tickled the underbelly, which is why a lot of these things is happening. I'm not sure who I've upset, who I rubbed the wrong way, who belly I've rubbed, but apparently it seems as that a lot of people are in cahoots to bring me down. No one has reached out their hand with an olive branch to support me in the leadership or government here. And I always say there's the rule that most people are 6 to 7 degrees of separation from knowing everybody. Atlanta is small, so that goes down to 3 to 4 people for the average person. But for me, I feel like it's just 2 people away from knowing anybody in Atlanta. But all these people that I know, all these organizations that I was giving money to and being a member of, not one has reached out to support me on my behalf. In fact, one organization invited Keith Gamet to speak. I asked them to not do that, but they did it anyway. So, so those are the 3 things. If you could support the GoFundMe, give me some recommendations of an attorney, sign the petition, and 4, just reach out to me and let me know how you might be of support to me. It could be attending the council meetings with me and just yielding your time. You sign up to speak and give me that time. It gives me the opportunity to express myself more. So it's a lot of simple things. It could be I'm considering a protest, you know, going out there with me on a protest one day. So those are the simple things, but mainly just reach out to me. My Instagram is at JE Wesley 06. That's at JEWESLEY 06.
Right, it's strolling
And
now.
thank you so much, Jazz. Like no one
It's
has really
it's
done
no
what you've
worries
done.
because I tell you, now you know when you reached out to me, I asked where had you been, because like you say, your Facebook disappeared, LinkedIn. I saw you were there, and all of a sudden you wasn't there anymore, and I was like, what? Because I said, okay, well I'm still connected with the LinkedIn. And so I was glad that you had reached out to me. However, I was very, very disappointed once you started telling me about all of the devastating things that have been happening to you over the past 5 to 6 years. And not only that, most of the people that you are talking about are very prominent people here in the Atlanta area. Now, you also went to your minister.
Yeah.
Share with us a little bit
That.
about that experience.
So Reverend Raphael Warnock was my pastor first, my frat brother second, and my senator third. I asked to meet with him. I met with him on a Sunday after church. I still cannot believe this to this day. He called me a liar. He called me, told me I was trying to be like Jussie Smollett. He told me I would never get a job a day in my life in Atlanta. He told me my social media was garbage. I told him that I'm homeless and don't have food. He told me it was a Tuesday. He told me to go to the food line on Saturday. I go to the food line on Saturday, and he had me put out the line. It's humiliating as it is to sit in a food line and then to be pointed out and told that I had to leave. Please, somebody help me make this make sense.
Are you serious?
I promise to God, give me a Bible. I should have had a Bible right here. The man never offered me one positive word. What I would have expected a pastor to do, my expectations would have been, Brother J. Wesley, tell me what happened. For you to tell me I'm a liar, someone been in your ear telling you something. And clearly they didn't give you fact-based information. But he never asked me what happened. He never gave me any ounce of hope. He never gave me any faith of a mustard seed. The man just demeans me. And the third thing I would, because giving hope and faith would say, brother, it's going to be all right. You're going to make it through this. Keep your head up. I've seen you in Bible class. I've seen you in church. I know that you're covered with the blood. And when you're covered with the blood, it never loses power. God has his hands over you. That's why you're still here. That's giving hope and faith. He never used words like that. And the third expectation I would have my pastor to do would be to pray for me. To pray. He never once said, brother, let's pray. And put the anointing over me to make sure I'm covered. He never offered any of that. Not that I would expect it as an expectation, but a good pastor would have reached in his pocket and took out $20 and say, brother, get you something.
Yeah, you say you was homeless. I mean,
a good pastor would have called the deacon and said, you take this man over there to the food pantry right now and let him take whatever he wants.
Yeah.
But not Raphael Warnock. He is not the person that you all think he is. I've never voted Republican a day in my life, but it looks like I'm going to have to with that election coming up.
Now let's talk about the solicitor before we get off of the show, Keith Gamage.
Yes, another black man. My injustices have been done by black people. It started with black men taunting me, calling me fag, sissy, and they've never met me a day in my life. Then it goes to what I just told you about Raphael Warnock, a black man that's supposed to uplift. And then he got Keith Gamage, just so that you all don't know the justice system here. Keith Gamage is a mini Fonnie Willis, since everyone seems to know her worldwide. He handles only misdemeanor cases, and he can and have the power to bump misdemeanors up to Fonnie Willis' office for a felony, in which what he did in my case, but dismissed the very man that y'all saw slapping me. He dismissed that man's case. How does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense.
But Keith Gamage is a black man, and he's an elected official, and his premise is smart, fair, and restorative. Can someone tell me, inbox me at JEWesley06 and tell me, how is this fair? How is this smart? Or how is it restorative? To me, it doesn't even make sense. It's not even logical.
Jay, we got one more clip we want to show before we say goodnight. Did you talk about your change petition that you have? I know you talked about the GoFundMe.
Yes,
You
if you
mentioned
go to
that
my Instagram, you'll see the GoFundMe there. You'll see the petition there at JEWesley06.
All right, let's check out this next clip.
Fear grips my heart with Keith Gamage as the Solicitor General of Fulton County. Government was created to find common ground. Why are you making my hate crime that I experienced on November 20th, 2018, the lowest of your priorities? Good afternoon. My name is J. Wesley Day, and Mr. Gamage has hijacked my life. I'm asking you all to treat me like a human, deserving of dignity and respect. What Keith Gamage has done to me is cruel, inhumane, and full of violations of constitutional rights. You all have turned a blind eye to my situation. Just like Ms. Williams mentioned here, my mom also have had 2 sons murdered in Chicago, Illinois, and one son drowned. I was nearly the fourth because on 2018, I was brutally beaten by multiple men on Edgewood Avenue that left me clinging for my life at Grady Hospital on a ventilator. During that attack, they hurled homophobic slurs at me and threats as I recorded them on my cell phone. The second injustice, in spite of having cell phone footage, Mr. Keith Gamage charged me with affray. How does that happen? I recorded them slapping me, taunting me, but I get charged. The third injustice is Keith Gamage upgraded that misdemeanor case for recommendation of a felony. Does that make sense to anyone? As a result comes the fourth injustice. I lost my dream job at Delta Airlines. The fifth injustice, Keith Gamage dismissed the case of the main assailant that's on camera taunting me with homophobic slurs and slapping me. His case get dismissed in 2020. My case would not be dismissed until 2022 by Madam Fonnie Willis herself. How does that make sense? The sixth injustice, I went to my then pastor, my frat brother, and my senator, Reverend Raphael Warnock. He told me I was a liar. He told me I was trying to be a Jussie Smollett. He told me my social media was garbage. I told him I was being homeless because I lost my job. I didn't have food to eat. He told me to go to the food pantry days later on a Saturday. I showed up. He had me put out of the line to get food. He never offered me one positive word or advice. That was the sixth injustice. The seventh injustice, my son had to withdraw from the University of Wisconsin due to me losing my job behind this hate crime. The eighth injustice, they are attempting to dismiss the case of the second assailant. And I'm asking you all not to let them dismiss that case. The ninth injustice, I went to submit expungement papers at Keith Gamage's office, and he had me forcefully removed from the office. I was calm. All I had was paper to turn in, and it seemed like people just came out the sky and out garbage cans, out the walls. 8, 9 people had me dismissed. Ms. Boone, it was my understanding that that was part of the people's office. If I didn't cause no fear to anyone, why would I be taken out when I'm trying to clear my record? How does that make sense? The 10th injustice, I was left with a nearly $100,000 hospital bill at Grady Hospital. 11th injustice, I still experience nightmares, flashbacks that has caused me severe depression, anxiety, and PTSD. The 12th and final injustice is that no one on this council has assisted me with getting any justice. I haven't received a call from any councilman. No one will talk to me. No one will meet with me. No one will pick up the phone. Michael Bunn, I see you all the time on 55 Maple Street, City Center, Flats on Maple. At the end of the day, it's an injustice, and no justice, no peace. Andrea Boone, I recall you experienced an attack in recent years. Did it take this long for justice to come to you? It's over 5 years. Why is it taking over 5 years to get justice when Fonnie Willis was given money to get rid of the backlog of cases in this city? This happened November 20, 2018, in one case with one of the assailants. Remember, one was dismissed and one case is still in Fonnie Willis' office. Why is it there?
Wow.
And one thing about that is that's upsetting is that Keith Gamage called me. Like he had his secretary call me, and he said, I hate things didn't go the way that you wanted, but I did the right thing, and he denied ever dismissing the my assailant's case. He told me he didn't dismiss it. He told me it went to Funny Willis as well. But a good person, a good Samaritan, gave me the paperwork where it shows Keith Gammett's signature and a letter dismissing the case. Did I show you that one?
Yes.
So why would he call me and lie to me? But what it really was about, it was about him. Because in that same phone call, he said, I wish you would stop defaming my character. Guess what, Keith Gammett? I'm from the west side of Chicago, and I don't know how not to fight for what's right. I don't know how not to fight for restoring my character, restoring my name that you diminished. I don't know how not to fight to keep going, as you mentioned at the start of this, with the good trajectory that I had going for myself when I first came to Atlanta. I just don't know how to sit back and allow this injustice to happen. Because even today, Ali Carter, I'm putting him on blast. He told me, brother, just let it go. Ali Carter used to work for Andre Dickens. Andre Dickens terminated him. Now he's running for commissioner. Ali Carter and I were good friends in Chicago. But he's not the only one who has told me to just sit back, let it go, let it go. When someone's destroyed your character, your name, they beat me, I just don't know how to sit back and take an ass whooping like that. I'm sorry. I've always been a fighter of justice. I've been president of an NAACP. You can
Yes.
go back to my high school. You can go back to my college, and they will all tell you, Wesley Day, Jermaine Wesley Day, always stood up, was always doing the protest, was always taking up fights for the student rights in high school to college, even after college. So this is not nothing brand new of me fighting for justice. I'm just used to doing it for other people or helping other people. And it makes me feel some type of way that nobody will help me. And so I appreciate you so, so, so much. And then one last thing with this all, just last week, I think I sent you this email, Jazz. I get kicked out of Funny Willis' office. I'm
Right.
very professional when I go to these offices. I call it my Michael Jackson voice. Anyone that really knows me knows that my natural voice is super soft to the point everybody be like, huh, can you speak up? Say it again. But I know how to project my voice in the right tone, right manner, especially on air. But I say that to say that when I'm dealing with business, I speak very professionally, not as assertive, aggressive, or passionate as I'm speaking right now. I know
Mm-hmm.
how to code switch. Black folks gotta know how to code switch, even with our own time. But
Yeah.
I get kicked out of Funny Willis' office. I got kicked out of Keith Gammage's office. Funny Willis said they will not talk to me no longer about the hate crime until I get an attorney. How does this make sense? If you want to charge me with extortion, charge me with extortion. That's a whole separate thing from the hate crime. I people, if it makes sense to y'all, please inbox me at JEWESLEY06 and tell me how this makes sense to you all.
For any attorney that may listen to this broadcast or are tuning in now, what can they do to help you?
I have to now prepare to fight this extortion case. I have to fight to get justice and get that one assailant that's still on the hook. Possibly both of them might still be on the hook because what Keith Gamage did was a miscarriage of justice. What Keith Gamage did was um, traumatizing because a judge did not sign off on that paperwork. And the law says, Georgia state law says, if a judge has not signed off on the paperwork and if he wasn't convicted in the court of law by a jury or judge, then the case can be what you say resubmitted. So I don't know. So I need an attorney to help fight to get justice, whether it's with one or two. And then the third part of it would be potentially taking on Delta to ask, would they reconsider getting my job back? Because ultimately, I've been terminated for something I didn't do, like wrongfully, like as you mentioned. So those are the three things that an attorney can assist me with.
Awesome. Well, Jay, any final words before we say goodnight? We appreciate you sharing this trauma and this experience with our audience. We wish you continued success. I will definitely be walking with you going forward. Definitely want to talk to you about a couple of things off air, but we'll catch up tomorrow. So, hang in there and don't let it get you down. Things are gonna turn around and you're gonna get the justice that you so rightfully deserve. So just I'm glad that you are a person that is standing your ground and that is letting it be known that these people have violated your civil rights and your human rights.
Exactly. And if they're doing it to me, how many other people are they doing it to? And then if they're even not, I want to make sure that this does not happen to anyone else. I come from the hood, okay? Drug houses on my block, two brothers murdered, connect those dots. And I say that to say that I had to stay steadfast and manifested to walk in a fine line to be in gifted programs, gifted seventh grade, two bachelors, two masters, all but dissertation or doctoral degree. That took intention to not have a criminal record coming from the hood. Not many people can say that they are a rising star from the west side of Chicago. But I get here and catch this petty charge and it rocks my world. So you said the one thing that people can do for me before they leave, do something my own pastor, my frat brother, my senator didn't do. Pray for me, please. Pray for me.
It's going to be okay. Everything is going to work out. God is going to make sure that you get justice because no one deserves to be beaten and treated unhumane as they have done you here in the Atlanta area. I can't wait to see where we go from here.
And two real quick last points. Someone put a symbol on the crosswalk, rainbow crosswalk. Do you know they sent the U.S. Marshals up to get that black man for just a symbol? He didn't say nothing to nobody. He didn't hit nobody. He just wrote a swastika. I don't know how to pronounce the word properly. Are you familiar with that case?
I am.
So how does
Well,
that
it
make sense?
wasn't.
He writes a
The
symbol,
thing
and y'all
is
send the whole
that
U.S. Marshal and
the
APD force to
thing
go
is
get him.
that wasn't. I think it was a combination of things that happened. It wasn't quote unquote just that, but it also had been like several people had done damage to that particular rainbow thing, so they were
Right.
really hyped up
So
on it. So I think that was
however
a
it was, if you
combination.
can send the U.S. Marshals to go get somebody who painted on a crosswalk on the ground, for those people that don't know, you certainly can do something for me. But the second part of it is, look at Mike Vick. They put that man in jail for having dogs fight. I'm not saying it's right or wrong about having dogs fight, but if that man had to go to jail for having dogs fighting, what are you telling me as a black man about myself that you don't want to take any action when these guys beat me on camera? And there's more camera footage. There's the street camera footage. There's the joystick game bar camera footage. They're all on camera. I got them on camera. And you do nothing. But are you telling me that a dog's life is more valuable than a human's life? Come on, Jazz. Help me make this make sense, please.
I can't help you make it make sense because it doesn't make sense. It just it smells like it's just like you say, it's just they're just disrespecting what has happened to you. Why I don't know.
Take
That's
it
the
to why.
$1 million question, is why is it that you are not getting the justice that you so deserve? And it's plenty of organizations here in Atlanta that you should reach out to and really seek some guidance and some more professionalism, because I just cannot believe that this is going to be the final results on what has happened to you.
In the city that says it's too busy to hate. Leave it
Well,
at that.
it,
That's
it
all I
also
got.
it also says it's the city of brotherly love, and no, the
Where
beloved
is it at?
community.
Where
No,
is it at?
the beloved community.
Somebody show me some love. Show me some love in my inbox, y'all, at
All
JE
right.
Wesley06.
All right. Well, hey, we're gonna pray for you. We're gonna lift you up. We're gonna keep you prayed up. So, just keep your head straight and keep in touch with me. Let me know what's going on. I'm gonna say good night for now, Jay. We wish you continued success with this ordeal that you're experiencing at this time. One love. I love you, and I'll be in touch.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, guys. I know tonight was a little bit of a hard story to listen to. Jay and I have been friends for many, many years, and I am so sorry that this has happened to him. If you know anyone, any lawyer, or anyone that may be able to help him in any way, please reach out to him and give him the guidance that he needs to go forward. I'm going to say good night for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening and being supportive of Jay. It's always great to have a supportive group of people when you're dealing with any type of traumatic injury, life experience, or anything that has brought you to the point where you're dealing with depression, PTSD. Those things definitely require a lot of comfort and care when you're going through that. So make sure that if you know Jay, that you reach out and you give him some love. Until then, I'm going to get out of here. Keep God first in your life. I'm your host, the First Lady, Minister Jazzy. True life experiences, sharing the lives of extraordinary leaders, entertainers, and community leaders. Until then, keep God first in your life. I'm out. One love.